This was really ironic. He literally contradicts himself on Fox News during the same show about Florida curriculum. Now, typically, when a Fox News host lie, they will lie on one show and then tell another lie on another show. They at least allow a one show minimum to go between the lies. This guy did not even allow a segment. You know him, let's go to him, Jesse Watters.
No one's saying slaves benefited from slavery. No one's saying that slaves benefited from being torn out of their continent, stuffed into deadly slave ships, and brutalized by their masters. No one's saying that. Anyone who read the curriculum knows that. Primetime read it. It's a rich, thorough, and rigorous curriculum which covers over 400 years of the black experience with slavery. Now, one element in this year-long course covers how, quote, slaves developed skills which, in some instances, could be applied for their personal benefit. Instruction includes trades performed by slaves, blacksmithing, carpentry, agricultural work.
Damn, Jesse, you just said that nobody is saying that slavery benefited black people. And then literally in the same segment, you pivot to read the ridiculous curriculum of how it says slavery benefited black people. It is amazing to me how individuals who are feckless leaders, parading as if they run something, simply repeating what's on the teleprompter, simply saying what the producer told them to say. Jesse, you should have done just a little research, sir. Read the curriculum. It's actually quite simple. When you started your show and said clearly, no one is saying there's a benefit to slavery. What you should have said is that the curriculum should not be saying there's a benefit to slavery. There's more. Here it is.
He says this right here. This is well documented among historians. This is historical fact that slaves did develop skills while they were enslaved and then used those skills as blacksmiths, as in agriculture, tailoring, in the shipping business, to then use to benefit themselves and their families once they were freed. That's not controversial.
You know what is controversial, Jesse? Is that the curriculum allows for a teacher to teach that slavery benefited black people. But the same educator cannot teach that slavery benefited whites. You don't find that ironic, Jesse? That one is allowable and the other one is disallowed? How about this part? You can teach that the KKK existed. You can teach that the KKK were historical, still exist. But you cannot give deference in the teaching, meaning you cannot teach that the KKK was morally wrong. You cannot teach that the KKK was ethically corrupt. You don't find that to be an issue, Jesse? Well, how about this last point? It is about how you front lean a narrative. It is about the insanity of suggesting that being able to own another human being was a jobs program or had significant benefits for that demographic. Never have you or any of your colleagues on the right ever said this out loud. Not one time. We've been here for a while, Jesse. This was the first time you've ever said this. Why do you think it is the first time you've ever said this? I've been saying the same thing for decades. This is your first time saying something this silly and dumb. Why? Because you're following the direction of the conservative white supremacist movement. You're following their cues. You know you can't simply be authentic. You cannot be who you probably once were and now de-evolving into. You can't do that now, can you? Because you have hitched your entire wagon to these racist ass SOBs. And you will do their bidding because you have, well, you have no backbone, sir. You actually have said some things in your career that made sense. That day is far removed from you now. The reality is, Jesse, that saying slavery somehow created these massive benefits to Black people is to deny the massive sacrifice. We weren't able to own property or land. We weren't able to sign contracts. So my ancestors were robbed of the work they actually performed. Robbed. It was taken away and passed to your ancestors. You received my family's generational wealth. You received my family's property. We should have had access just like you, but we did not, because this country was founded on the principle that you could in fact own another human being as long as they were not a white male. So Jesse, before you start down this road, ask yourself this question. What's the benefit of a woman or a child that has been trafficked? Because once you start talking about the benefits of human trafficking, which slavery is, don't just stop there. Go forth with your linear logic, sir. What was the benefit of girls or boys trafficked in this country, through this country, out of this country, and into this country? Go ahead and tell us, since you're in the business now of giving an apologist theory of slavery and human trafficking in America. All right, Sharon, thoughts?
Jesse Watters is not even a talented liar. SNL would reject that skit verbatim. It's just not funny. He is armed with that smirk, not cute. He's armed with that New York Gumby cut, and that's what it's called. That's what it's called. And for that, he makes $16 million a year. He has not a bit of common sense. Yes, your land, my land was passed to his ancestors. Common sense was not.
Right.
It is a vicious, stinking, dirty life and propaganda that he's pushing. It's a shame he has so much company.
Yep, there you go.